The 2026 Football World Cup is going to be a marathon affair with an unprecedented 104 matches. There will be 48 teams, which is 16 more than what we saw at the Qatar World Cup. Hello and welcome. You have tuned into WION Sports Extra. I am Nikhil Mathur and I'm joined by my editor Digvijay Singh Deo.
Our partner in crime is on leave, Vidur Kathuria.
Vidur is on leave.
Yeah.
And today the question that we are asking in this live is, has FIFA undervalued the World Cup? We also have a poll which is underway on our Facebook page. You can share your views on that and we will let you know the result. Before we begin the discussion, just break down for our viewers this new format. There will be more teams. It's going to be a round robin format, but there are some changes. What are those?
Well, the big change obviously happened in 2017 when they decided to expand and make it a 48 team affair. As you rightly pointed out, the World Cup initially was 16 teams, then it went to 24. 1998 was the first time you had 32 teams, and then you're now going to have 48. So FIFA initially thought that how do we sort of ensure that we don't lose the quality and all of that, and how do you figure it out? So then they decided that what they could do was have 3 teams in each group, 16 groups, and then the top 2 go through to make it 32. And there was going to be a new round of 32, which is even there in this format. But obviously then they realized, and some wise men would have prevailed on them, that the reasons why you started playing all the group matches on the same day was because some teams were colluding and to knock the other one out. The disgrace of Gijon is mentioned in 1982 as well. Germany were involved there. So that's the reason why you went and had all the teams playing at the same time in the last group stage matches. Then they also realized that Qatar 2022 sort of was an eye-opener because it threw up some fascinating results. A lot of matches went down to the final round.
Yeah.
You guys were here, I was in Bahamas, and I used to keep an eye out there and send those results in. I still remember it was fascinating. You didn't know who was going through. Yeah. So what? Germany went out, Uruguay went out, Belgium went out, South Korea beat...
that group. I think
they beat Portugal. They didn't go through. Did they go through? No.
They...
Yeah, but they beat...
that group was pretty,
So it was all over. It was very exciting. And ultimately, numbers matter, bottom lines matter, viewership numbers matter. So clearly somebody in FIFA thought, this is what we should preserve. And they've gone. Thankfully, they've reworked it. And they've now come back with this new format, which says instead of 16 groups, you're going to have 12 groups of 4 each. So you maintain the sanctity of that group phase. So then initially you would have what? 2 teams going through, right?
Yeah.
So 12 into 2 is 24. That becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So obviously then they had to introduce that round of 32, which is the first knockout round. And 24 teams going through. The next 8 will come through as the 8 best placed third place teams. So a lot like how you have in the UEFA European Championships. So the thing over there is a team who's playing in Group A or in Group B, you've got 12 groups, right? So A, B, C, D, right down. So teams which are playing over there won't know till the other teams finish, have they made it or not.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty. Now, the matches obviously exponentially increase. You have one full round of 32 means 16 matches straight away there. And because you have 4 extra groups, so that's 24 matches. So that's exactly where the 40 increase is coming. So 48 teams, 104 matches. The duration of the tournament increases from 32 days currently to 39 days maximum. Could be 38, could be 39 depending on scheduling.
And the team who reach the final will play 7 matches? 8
That's also the change. Earlier it was 7. And in the previous format also, which the FIFA had decided was 16 by 3, it was also 7 because you're playing just 2 group stage games. But here it's 8, 1 extra game.
So and
so that's just simplifying what it is. Now let's get to the big problems.
So Italy missed the 2018-22 World Cup. I think Netherlands also missed the 2018 World Cup, and these teams play the qualifying matches throughout the year, in their respective zones. So will this ensure that the big teams, don't miss out? Because now we have more teams, and Italy missing out a World Cup, it's a lot. It's a loss of revenue as well for FIFA. So this new format will favor the big teams?
No, before we get to Italy and the teams who did qualify, just look at what this third place team opens up. it means that the likes of Germany will be in the round of 32.
Yeah.
South Korea, Uruguay, Belgium, all these teams which finished third in their group and got knocked out, beat on goal difference or whatever, they're in the game. So I think it's going to have a different kind of an effect that when these sort of teams, which are champion teams, you get them into a knockout round, then it's a lottery, right?
Yeah.
So you are increasing their chances of going out there and winning. So what you're also doing is decreasing the chances of having a great run like we saw with Morocco. Or these great, there are some teams which are tournament teams, you know.
Yeah.
Some teams will do very well across the world. Italy have done well, but you know, Germany are a tournament team. Brazil have sort of faded away, but they've always been known as a tournament team. Argentina were a great tournament team. You don't need to win every match 4-0. You just need to win 1-1-1, like what England did in the last Euros. 1-0, 1-0 wins, even the last World Cup, and sort of get there. So that's a different approach over there. I think this new format ensures that all the big teams, once they qualify for the World Cup, they're not going to be sort of having this surprise results like, but Germany, what, 2 World Cups in a row first round?
Yeah.
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 So no more of like the surprise element in the group stage probably won't be there.
Just to simplify, you look at how many teams say that the person who, the country which topped the group has 6, 7, 8, 9 points maximum.
Yeah.
But the other teams were on, a lot of teams were on 4 points.
4 points.
So those teams on 4, then it comes down, you rank all those teams who are the best 8 of that, and anybody who's got 4 points in a World Cup or a European Championship usually gets through.
Yeah, and you can just play defensively and you can get a draw and then probably you nick one in the end and you can qualify.
But look at the amount of money for FIFA, Nikhil. FIFA said that its right cycle, the last cycle, 19 to 22, this World Cup, they had a revenue of $7.6 billion, okay? And their projection was $11 billion in this right cycle because the matches increased from 64 to 80. Now you're going to have from 80 to 104. That's 24 more matches.
That's billions we are talking about.
We're talking about billions of dollars in FIFA revenue. And that's exactly how Infantino and his team sold it to these countries which voted for the change, that the more matches we have, the more teams that come in, we get more revenue and we distribute it to you. So don't look at it just from the Western countries side. You know, those countries have established systems, you know, they play in the Euro, the Champions League, the money is there. But here, look at a lot of countries in Asia, a lot of countries in sort of Africa. For them, a FIFA annual grant of say you were getting $1 million. And now you're going to get exponential increase, right? The money you get from FIFA in terms of broadcast revenue, which is shared, that outlay is going to significant. That's why they voted for the plan.
And hopefully the money goes in the right hand because they've talked about the corruption and all.
You know what happens at FIFA.
Yeah. So, but will the quality decrease of the tournament? Because, you know, you have, like the FIFA has divided the world into 6 zones, you know, where each zone, the teams in each zone play a number of matches and they've allotted spots for the World Cup depending on the quality and strength of the group. Now, the good thing is that more teams will get a chance to play the market.
Yes, I have that list here. So UEFA now has 16 berths at the World Cup. That's the European Confederation. Earlier it was 13.
13.
So I think there were 8 groups, 9 automatic qualifiers went through and rest came through a playoff. Fair enough? That's going to increase to 16. That's not that big an increase. And you know that a lot of European teams are good.
The pedigree,
they have the pedigree, and when it goes to a World Cup, they can beat other teams.
Yeah, like Sweden didn't qualify for this, but probably they can get through.
Asia goes to 8 and a chance at playoff spots. So 8 automatic qualifiers for Asia. 9 for South America. Okay? So, no, 9 for Africa. I'm sorry. 9 for Africa.
Okay.
South America, 6 and a chance for maybe 2 other teams, right?
Yeah.
Its automatic qualifiers right now are 4 and 1 intercontinental.
Yeah.
So the increase effectively, 1 guaranteed start for Oceania, which was never there. For the first time, you'll probably have New Zealand there. Because the winners of Oceania had to go through a playoff, an intercontinental playoff. There were 2 intercontinental playoffs. So the increase is coming from Africa and Asia. And while we had the great story of Japan, and while we had the great Saudi Arabia upset of Argentina, but they couldn't sustain it, right?
Yeah.
So that's where my feeling is, and I've always felt that a World Cup has to be of the highest quality.
Yeah.
You want to see a World Cup because the football that you get is of the highest quality. Qatar that way ended up being one of the greatest World Cups of all time because of the quality of games. Perhaps it was the heat, or perhaps the players could not adjust to that humidity, especially the afternoon matches, which is when the upsets used to happen.
Yeah.
Teams which were fitter, which sort of ended up winning matches which you wouldn't normally expect them to win.
Yeah.
So I think that's the problem, in my opinion, and I could be very wrong. But that's where I think the quality of the World Cup is sort of going to take a hit, but we knew that.
You know, we talked about how Qatar World Cup, the condition, the player weren't used to the condition, and now this is going to be a longer tournament, you know, and it will definitely take a toll on the players' health. There'll be more matches, and I think July 19th is the final, and then Champions League final is in May, so a little less time.
No, but FIFA is saying that it's a 56-day window between the last, what we saw at the last World Cup, the sort of pre and post. While that is fine, I think we sort of tend to get carried away by these 39 days, because how many teams will stay till the end? You also
yeah.
just 2 teams will have that entire 39-day stretch, right?
But
4 teams, the 1, 2, 3 and 4. The other teams, the ones who are going back in the first round, are going back in the first
But then
round.
they have to wait for round of 32 also, so some teams will wait.
Yes.
Because 3, like earlier it was 2.
But the rest increases, right?
Yeah.
I think the round of 32 will also increase the rest.
Yeah.
The rest factor. All that is, for me, is sort of irrelevant. I think for me, what matters big time is that the quality of football goes down. FIFA is going to make a lot of money. The flip side is fans get to see a World
You have
Cup.
covered a lot of World Cup there.
Fans get to see
Yeah.
more tickets available for fans,
But
more money for FIFA.
But will-
irrelevant. As a normal football fan, you and I probably have a better
definitely.
chance of going and watching the Football World Cup as well.
Definitely, but a fan who's went there for the group stage, will he stay till the end? You know?
Depends if he has the money. Obviously, you and I can't. It's the United States, Canada, and Mexico, not exactly the cheapest places, especially for all of us in India who have when the conversion factor comes in. Anyway, I think we've got some questions, comments. Can you check your phone?
We have some comments? Poll questions.
Okay, some poll questions. Okay.
Poll question. I think he has sent you the poll.
Okay.
So we will keep voting, fire in your comments. We will take them, and we will definitely tell you what's the result of the poll that we started before this live.
Okay. Facebook poll by WION. Interesting. Thank you for voting in. Has FIFA devalued the Football World Cup with its new rule for 2026? Is what we asked you. 76.9%. That's 77% of you have said yes. Only 23% think that expanding the World Cup is a good thing. That's telling numbers.
Yeah.
Numbers, yes.
Because there are fans, there are some...
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
And we're going to make this a habit. We're going to sort of keep throwing these questions to you and these polls to you, and we want your response. We want to get a feel of what the football fan or the sports fan, what exactly they feel at the moment.
You know, there are some football fans and a sports fan. Like a sports fan would definitely, like I know friends who don't watch football daily, but they definitely wait for the World Cup, and they want to see the highest quality of football.
Not just friends, my wife also, who isn't that much into football, and at home my son and I will watch football, but my wife watches football especially during tournaments.
During tournaments, yeah.
Which is either a Football World Cup or the European Championships.
So yeah, so I think pretty much we have covered all the stuff, and you will get a detailed reports with graphics of the same thing in our show at 6:30 p.m. IST. And what do we have other than that?
Oh,
5-star
Erling Haaland, 5 goals, joins Luis Adriano and Lionel Messi as the only men to score 5 goals in a Champions League game. And we're also building up to a very big match. 1% chance is what Jurgen Klopp says his Liverpool have of beating Real Madrid. But well, they have somehow overcome a 3-goal deficit against Spanish opposition not too far back in the past. So that's Real Madrid versus Liverpool. We'll look at that. There's a host of important results coming up in
Inter has joined their rivals AC Milan as well. So that's
the 2 Milan clubs in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And there's also huge results coming in from the Indian Wells Open on the Women's Tour and the Masters with Zverev and Medvedev playing out an absolute thriller. Felix Auger-Aliassime saving a lot of match points. Jessica Pegula is out. I think Kvitova saved multiple match points in that as well. So an out-and-out packed sports bulletin.
Yeah, that and much more at 6:30 p.m. IST.